And we are back at the top of another Savage stream. Thanks to everybody tuning in and liking, sharing, subscribing, all that cool stuff. You guys are real legends over here. I really appreciate it. I am freaking exhausted. I had to do my yard work today. So you guys know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that probably about every other Thursday I'm doing yard work, and it is brutal where I am. And yeah, I'm totally exhausted. I can't even talk. Okay. Whew. So it takes about 3 hours of yard work to get done. So it's really brutal. Anyway, y'all don't want to hear about yard work. So let me go ahead and talk about the new 330 series from Nvidia. They are, we're getting a little bit more data as time goes on, of course. Everybody's probably seen the picture that was private message to Red Panda Mining. It looks like this. I said picture, graphic, you know what I mean. Basically laying out and saying that the 3090 looks like it's going to get, with a little bit of a memory overclock, 111 mega hash, 111.5 on Ethereum or on Ethash. And then the 3080 is going to get about 90. And then the GA 104-300 is probably the super, or possibly, I don't even know. It's probably a super, or maybe a TI version of something. But anyway, it is, actually I skipped the RTX 3070. The 3070 is about 51 to 55, depending on the overclock settings. So there's a pretty big drop off in that 3070 from the 3080. I'm feeling like the 3070 is probably not a great idea for crypto mining. I think that, well, we'll get into that, but I'm leaning more towards something, a different one on the list here. So that bottom one there, the GA 104-200, is probably a super of some version, maybe a 3060, I think, maybe super or something. I don't know, but they've got some hash rates up here that are very similar to the 3070. So I don't know how that's going to work. What this is actually going to turn into. Maybe somebody in the chat over here. I know I got Neff over here, and Crypto Mining Lifer, and Grits, Chancoin, all that stuff. Hey, what's up, Chancoin? Yeah, definitely the one right now for sure. The best GPU is the one in your rig for sure. But I kind of wanted to cover this because I think it's important for people to understand the mathematics behind it, and I like looking at things for value and not just like a wow factor like you would get with the 3090. It's like, wow, you paid $1,500 for a 3090. I mean, yeah, this is sick. Sick hash rates, but let me show you something else, because I don't know where this came from. It was from the Life of a Miner, okay? And he tweeted today that the RTX 3080 tested to do 115 mega hash at 300 watts. Now, there are some YouTubers, some of the higher end YouTubers like Jay's 2 cents and all that. Jay and those guys, there's a few more that have received a 3080, but I think that under their agreement that they're not allowed to plug it in. But come on, guys, I mean, somebody's got it. Maybe this came from manufacturers. There's no telling where this information came from. So if the 3080 is going to get 115 mega hash at 300 watt. Now, my first question is, okay, so if the 3080 gets that, then what is the 3090 going to get? Because that could change the landscape of what we're talking about here, right? It sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot of mega hash. It is a lot of mega hash, but it's also at a cost of power. Now, you got to keep in mind that this is all, it's basically speculation at this point. I don't know how to validate this information. It would be, I mean, if this is true, this is, like I said right here in the tweet, sounds awesome. If true, given time, even more efficiency will be gained with miner and driver optimizations. These are exciting times, because they really are. I mean, this is really cool, and it's looking like, to me anyway, it is looking like the 3080 is just going to be a mining monster, is what it looks like. If this holds any truth whatsoever, this is going to be huge. 3080, I could see, even though at a price point of $699, $700, you know, for the one from Nvidia anyway. I don't know what the partners are going to do. They're, you know, those prices are probably going to go up, I would imagine, because they'll be doing their overclocking and little modifications and stuff, and definitely on the cooling side. Although I watched Jay's 2 cents video today on the 3080, and he seems to think that the cooling is going to work out really well. Now, Serpent X, Special Forces, Vega, Chris, he put together a video about the cooling of a 3080 in a rig. Probably very valid concern, because the way that the fans are designed on these GPUs, the reference cards from Nvidia, whether or not they're referenced or not, I don't know, but the cards from Nvidia, straight from Nvidia, the 3080, you know, basically that back fan on the back of the GPU away from the IO port is actually blowing. It's on the top, right? Actually, it's on this side. I think it's on this side, right? Hang on. Nope, it's on the left side. So if it's sitting in your rig, IO port's over here, it's on the left side, and then there's a fan in the front on the right-hand side, I believe is the way it works. I don't know. Where's my picture? So I had it in the thumbnail. But anyway, I think I'm saying that right. I could be backwards. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but the fan, you know, you think that it might scoop the air, but it actually blows the air. So it's actually pulling the air through the GPU, through the side of the GPU. It blows out from the GPU. Now, that would mean that it's sucking, you know, cold air through the side of the GPU, through the heat pipes and all that stuff. And then, you know, that heat or that air is going to be heated and then blown into the intake, basically, of the GPU that's next to it. Hey, what's up, Nemesis? So, valid concerns there as far as cooling goes. This particular tweet here was about that's not TDP. The TDP for a thermal design power indication or specification for a 3080 is actually, what is it, 320. So that tweet is actually a little bit less than TDP. So what I'm saying is it's not full power, right? It's very close, but it's not full power. So, you know, typically you can get, after mining optimizations, you know, with the drivers, with the miners themselves, the mining software, you know, you typically get between 70 and 75% TDP is where you're at for like the sweet spot for mining. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get, I mean, it would be super awesome. I mean, incredibly awesome if this is true and you can get 115 at 300 watt with basically no optimizations, right? And then you let the miner software devs do their work. If you could get 115 mega hash at, say, 70% of TDP, like something like 240 watts or 250 watts, that would be sick. That is a huge, huge performance increase. And what's cool about the 30 series, and everybody's crying about it, and there's a bunch of memes about it, of course, is that even the 3070 is supposed to be higher and perform better than the 2080 Ti, which is like the flagship of the previous series, right? So they normally don't do that. Normally Nvidia, you know, has it bleed into the previous version so that, you know, people that want the new one don't have to pay the highest price, but they can get a really solid performance, you know. And then if you still want to go with the flagship on the old series, then you can do that, and it costs a little bit more than, you know, normally they stagger it a little bit. This time they just completely demolished their previous the 20 series. Just forget them, right? So this is going to be interesting to see pan out. I can see, honestly, if this is even close to being real, okay, this data here, I could definitely see a lot of people building rigs, and especially if the mining rewards stay high for a while. You know, we don't know about ETH 2.0 on the Ethereum side. We don't know when that's going to take place. Everybody thinks they know, but no one really knows, right? It could be 2 more years, right? So we might actually have a year or 2 left on mining Ethereum, and that's pretty awesome, because I'm going to lose my train of thought, because I know I was going to say something about I could see people building 3080 rigs. I really can. Even though the GPU, if you buy it new, you know, the used market of the 30 series is going to be, you know, way down the road. But if you buy a new 3080 at 700 bucks, I mean, a 6 GPU rig is, what does that come out to? 4,200, right? Just in GPUs. Then you got like your $500 for power supplies and motherboard and frame and all that stuff. Okay, so say about, you know, almost 5,000. Now, here's the thing though. So that's for a 6 GPU rig. At 250 watts, I'm gonna mess up the math here. That's 1,500 in just GPUs. So, you know, a standard outlet, I think, is 20 amps, you know, one outlet, 20 amps, 120 volts. So you could get, the maximum is like 1850 or 1860, something like that. I could do the math. I don't want to bore you with like bringing up, you know, that type of calculation. But nonetheless, what I'm getting at is basically you're gonna, if you don't have 240, you're gonna actually have to have an absolutely dedicated circuit, 20 amp circuit for a 6 GPU rig. So I could see people, because of the cost, I could see people buying, you know, making a 5 GPU rig, right? And that might be super, like a really cool thing to do, because if you take, like in my case, you know, I'm a fan of the Veta frames, right? So if you take a 6 GPU Veta frame, and because of the cooling issue, right, with the fans being the way that they are, then I could see a 4 or a 5 GPU mining rig be pretty standard. On a 6 GPU frame, you know, spreading the GPUs out a little bit so that they get better cooling kind of makes sense, right? So I think that, man, this is going to be super exciting. This is like, wow. Yeah, this is kind of blowing me away. So you got this over here. Let's look at the spreadsheet here that I have generated. I have this. You know, I've got the I got a lot of different GPUs on here. I was kind of just looking at the prices and then comparing that to mega hash, you know, the mega hash that it will get. Now, if this isn't true, then these numbers for 3080, that 115 at 300 watts actually. So this is 70% of TDP would be 224. Even if you could get down to 250, I think you might be all right. On a single outlet, right? So, you know, yes, it's expensive, and yes, you could buy, you know, I don't know how many RX 580s you could buy. What is that? 3, 4, maybe 5 580s. But if you bought the 5 580s, you're looking at, okay, I need to do some math here. I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm way too tired. I don't know where I was going with that. I think what you kind of need to pay attention to is the cost per mega hash, and it is less to buy RX 580s. I think they're like 4 years old or 3 years old or something like that. I think they're 4. So, you know, you see the cost per mega hash right here is a lot better than even the 3080, but look at how close they are. I mean, you're talking about, okay, so 5 of these, is that right? It wouldn't be 5, that's 200. So yeah, you're only looking at like 3 of these. So 3 RX 580s, you got 31 mega hash at the most, you know, 32 maybe at the most. So you're looking at 90, let's say 94 watts, or I'm sorry, 94 mega hash total for the rig. And that's one card, one 3080 is more than that. And their cost per mega hash is very close, right? So already. So you can see here mega hash per watt at 100% TDP. You know, you can see the difference here between a 580, for example, and a 3080. Pretty big difference. You know, you got power differences and all that stuff, how much it costs per day. Now we could plug all this into, you know, like what to mine. We could head over there and plug in a 115, you know, for the 3080. Let's see what that does like right now today. Let's see what that looks like. So was it 115 at 300, right? And blow this up a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right, so 115 at 300. And that's at 10.3 cents per kilowatt hour. All right, so you're looking at, okay, so one card right now on Ethereum is 408 per day, $4 USD per day worth of Ethereum after power, after your electric bill, per card. So if you have a 5 GPU rig, let's just say you can push it and go to 6, that is $24 a day, a little over $24. Now, you know, right now we're in kind of a situation with Ethereum where the gas fees are now going back up a little bit. I think there's a little bit more things going on in the DeFi realm, so we are getting a little bit more mining rewards based on that. So, you know, this is going to vary all the time. You guys know this. You know, this is just a snapshot in time. But $24 on a you know, 5 or 6 GPU rig or 6 GPU rig is pretty solid. That is that's pretty good. If we can maintain that, that would be awesome. Let's see if I've got some numbers in here for. Yeah, I don't have. I was going to say I had the numbers in here for paying, you know, like a break-even point. So your ROI on this rig, or on the 3080 per day, is 408 after power. That's your ROI. That's a return on investment. If you're talking about paying the card off, that's break-even point. That's a different metric. Okay. Everybody likes to say ROI. It triggers me because it's not what they mean it to be. Anyway, all right, so let's see here. What we got going on over here in the chat? What is going on, everybody? Yeah, you guys are chatting it up over here about the cards. I don't know. I think that the 3080 is going to be, I mean, I hate using the term game changer, but good grief, man. That is really, really, really solid. If this is true. Now, I think that what was the previous number from the picture from, do I still have that up? Yeah, I do. So the original number was 90 with a little overclock, right? If 115, and that changes a lot. So if you do put in, you know, 90 here, you can see how it drastically changes, you know, your mega hash per watt. Not that, actually, your cost per mega hash changes drastically, right? So now you're kind of like getting further away from the RX 580. Now, this is all Ethereum. I'm only talking about mining ETH hash, actually, not just Ethereum, but you know, that's what these numbers are regarding. Now, if, you know, there's a lot of factors here. There's a lot of moving parts, because if the RX 580 price goes down to, let's just say that once Big Navi comes out, you know, they're hitting RX 580s. You can get them on the used market for, let's just say, $100, right? Now you're in this situation where it would be way better off to get a bunch of RX 580s instead of one, you know, or instead of one RX 3080. But could you imagine building a rig with 3080s and then you know, and having the power for it, like say a 240 volt. Let's just say you built an 8 GPU rig and it was 115. You're almost getting 1 gigahash off of one rig. That's sick. That is totally sick. So yeah, again, guys, you know, there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of variables. You know, you got the ETH 2.0, like I said earlier. You got the prices. You got whether or not this data is correct or not. Whether or not it is 115 or is it 90. You got the fact that miners and miner devs and driver devs are going to be optimizing this, especially on the miner side for mining, obviously. And this could change drastically. I'm anxious to see what the 3090, if, like I said at the top here, if the 3080 is going to get 115, the 3090 is going to be way more than that. Way more. It would have to be, right? Now, we're talking about crypto mining, so I don't know how close these are technology-wise. I think that they're pretty far apart as far as memory bandwidth. I think is pretty significantly different. Oh, and this points out. Yeah, I'm glad I went down here because this points something else out. Another big difference between the 3080 and the 3070, with regards to mining anyway, is the fact that it's got GDDR6X, and I think that I want to say that is not just double. I think it's more than double, if I remember right. Now this is saying that it's basically double, almost double on the memory bandwidth, but maybe it is just doubling. I don't know. Anyway, so that is significant. You know, on the 3070, you're only getting G6, and yeah, so that's pretty sick right there. You get 10 gig worth on the 3080. You only get 8 on the 3070. So you can see how, especially if it's a dual purpose GPU like mining and gaming, then there's just no question, man. There's just no question that the 3080 is it. So because for just $200 more, you're getting a significant performance increase, a visible performance increase. So yeah, cool stuff, man. This is gonna be exciting. I told everybody I was going to buy a 3070, just, you know, sacrifice myself for the community and for science and all that stuff. I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning towards the 3080 now, to be honest. I just don't think that the 3070's got the value, especially on the crypto mining side. It just doesn't, you know. I mean, you're paying $9, over $9 for the, you know, per mega hash. So now, if all of these numbers go up like the same percentage that the 3080 did, going from 90 to 115, you know, you would have to plug this in here and figure it out. You know, let's say it was 67. Right now, you're getting more into the ballpark. You know, that makes more sense, or makes some sense anyway. Still not great. You're gonna have to get like 78, maybe. You're going to have to get 80. Yeah, you're going to get between 75 and 80. You're going to need to get between 75 and 80 just to compare to the 3080 when it comes to dollars per cost per mega hash. So, yeah, this is like Nefarious said, man, this is a serious generational change. This is a real update. And they, you know, honestly, they could charge $8.99 for this card and probably still do fine with sales, because it's just that much better than the 3070. You know, maybe $7.99 would be great. Man, they really priced it low, in my opinion. They really priced it low, and this is good to see from Nvidia. I guess they're throwing us a bone here. So yeah, these are pretty good numbers here. All right. So let me know in the comments below and in chat. You guys normally watch me live, but if you're watching this video like after, then let me know in the comments if I was on point, you know, with my assessment here. I'm not typically like really hardcore hardware. I'm more of software and general like mining stuff. But this really caught my attention. Whenever I saw these numbers for the 3080, it really caught my attention. So let me know if I'm on point, if I'm way off base, what you guys think. You know, some other factors as far as mining goes, real quick. I know I didn't say this initially, but because of that power, there's going to be an additional cost of power supplies, right? You're going to have significant power supplies to meet the requirement if you're building a rig of 3080s. I mean, I could see like serious 3080 rigs at 3 or 4 GPUs, you know, and that's it. So maybe that will make it, because you could get a smaller rig, right? You could make a smaller rig. Maybe it'll penetrate the market a little bit better as far as the mining goes. If the profits stay up like they are, I could see people building 3 or 4 GPU rigs, just standard, you know. So yeah, if you're going to build a 6 or an 8, you're going to need a whole lot of power. A whole lot of power supplies. You probably don't want to do it on anything other than 240. So yeah, it'll be rough in that regard. So all right, maybe once the partners release, I know that they are slowly releasing some data on the partner GPUs. I think they're all dropping next week, 1 week from today. Thursday next week was at the 17th. Yeah, the 17th, the 3080 is dropping. The 3090, I believe, is the 24th, so 1 week later, and you're probably looking at October maybe before the 3070, I think is the way it's going to work. I don't know the actual dates, but I do think that the 3080 comes out next week, 1 week from now. So, and then on top of all this, you got to mix in there whether or not you want to wait on Big Navi, the 6000 series, because those, I don't think there's any specs out on those, and you know, typically AMD just crushes you know, ETH hash. So I don't know, there's a lot of things, but if I was going to buy a GPU right now for mining and like dual purpose, like for gaming, definitely a 3080. No, there's just no doubt about it. The 3090 would have to come down a lot in price or be just astronomical mega hash, like 160, you know, mega hash or something like that for that to make sense. So all right, guys, I am going to get out of here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Got 28 folks in here. That's a little bit more than usual. So I guess that people are interested in this type of content. So that's good. maybe I need to be doing more hardware type stuff, but I don't know. Hopefully this helps. You know, helps you decide like what you might want to buy for mining. You know, no doubt in my mind it's the 3080 for me. So. Yeah, there'll be, like Neff said, there's going to be daily updates, you know, until the release date and all that stuff. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here for the last time. I know I keep saying that. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Tomorrow is Friday, Crypto Fireball Friday. I will be drinking a little bit of Fireball and sweet tea, so it's fire tea tomorrow night. Don't know what I'll cover. What I think I'm going to cover is some news stuff. You know, it's usually like an open forum, kind of just goofing off and talking crypto and having a drink and stuff like that. Doing some maybe some shots, you know, I don't know, we'll see. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night, same time, 9:30, and probably at 10, I think that DCA Adventure will be going live. So that'll be cool to roll over into them if they are. And then, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. So stay savage, everybody.